Okay, good morning everyone. So over the next 20 minutes, I'm going to tell you about some of the work that NICE are doing to engage with companies to bring innovative products to the UK's National Health Service. So NICE is very much an evolving organisation. We were set up in 1999 as a special health authority, and our aim at that time was to reduce variation in the availability and quality of NHS treatments and care. And that was something that used to be referred to as the postcode lottery within the UK. In 2005, our remit was expanded as we took on the functions of the Health Development Agency, and our name changed to reflect that, so we were referred to as the National Institute for Health and Clinical Excellence. Again, in 2013, NICE was re-established as a non-departmental public body, which gives us much greater independence and meant that we were written into the primary legislation in the UK. With that change, we also took on responsibility for developing guidance and quality standards in social care. And again, our name changed to reflect the new responsibilities that we had. So we're now known as the National Institute for Health and Care Excellence. And our primary aim is to produce guidance and advice to improve health and social care in the UK. So with our evolving remit, we've developed a number of guidance-producing programmes at NICE. Within the orange circle, you can see some of the programmes which focus on looking at pathways of care in particular diseases, and also focus on improving quality within the NHS. But the most important guidance centre for developers of new technologies is the Centre for Health Technology Evaluation. Within that centre, we've got a number of guidance programmes which are designed to evaluate different types of technologies with different types of value propositions. So, for example, the Technology Appraisals programme predominantly evaluates all significant new medicines within the UK, and those medicines tend to have a value proposition which is about bringing increased clinical benefit for patients, but at an increased cost to the NHS. And that guidance that we produce is associated with mandatory funding for those products. In contrast to that, we have the Medical Technologies Evaluation Programme, which is a programme that evaluates devices and diagnostic technologies as well as digital products. And those products tend to have a value proposition which is about equivalent or increased patient benefit, but at a reduced cost to the NHS. So they're just a few of the programmes that we have producing guidance, but alongside those programmes, we have two key support teams at NICE, which have been set up specifically to support companies in bringing innovative products to the NHS. And they are the NICE Office for Market Access and the NICE Scientific Advice Programme. And it's these two teams which I'm mainly going to focus on today. Now, as you're probably very aware, the life sciences landscape is changing rapidly, and the journey from development to adoption of new products is becoming increasingly complex. We're seeing a lot of new products come to market through innovative schemes, which also means they're coming to market with slightly immature evidence bases. And those initiatives include things such as the European Medicine Agency Adaptive Pathways Programme and PRIME at the EU level. We've got the Cancer Drugs Fund within the UK and the Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency's Early Access to Medicine scheme as well. We've also got the Accelerated Access Review, which is ongoing within the UK and due to publish in the next couple of months. And that's looking at speeding up this entire development to adoption pathway for all life sciences products. So it's quite exciting times. There are really strong pipelines of products coming through from large and small companies alike, and there's potential for major patient benefits. But patients and healthcare systems also need access to these treatments as quickly as possible. And there are a number of challenges in getting those products to market. We still see quite high costs of some products, which is a challenge. And ensuring timely patient access while the evidence is emerging is also a challenge. As I mentioned, there are a lot of new initiatives coming up within the landscape, and we're aware that stakeholders are unfamiliar of the impact of some of those initiatives, what it means for your products and any future NICE evaluation that they might go through. So that's why effective engagement is absolutely necessary to address some of these challenges. And that's exactly what the Office for Market Access and the Scientific Advice programmes are set up to do. So what is the NICE Office for Market Access? We launched in October 2015, so we're still a relatively new programme coming up for our first birthday. We engage with companies and other stakeholders in the system on all life sciences products. So that includes pharmaceuticals, biopharmaceuticals, and also orphan and ultra-orphan products, and newer cell and gene therapies as well. We also engage on medtech products, including medical devices and diagnostics, as well as digital products if there's a patient benefit associated with those. So in terms of how you can engage with OMA, we provide tailored engagement and expert advice to help optimise the journey through NICE and along that development to adoption pathway. We provide opportunities for you to engage with NICE at any stage along that pathway. And our team of experts are available to answer initial inquiries that you might have, and we can refer you to other system partners where that might be appropriate. And these preliminary services are all offered free of charge. But where companies would like us to undertake more detailed work on a specific product, we offer bespoke services which are tailored to the company's requirements. In order to provide these services, we charge fees on a not-for-profit basis to support the cost recovery of the programme. And the fees can vary in scale depending on the nature of the discussions and the resources required to provide that service. Now, the key concept that underpins all of OMA's services is the safe harbour principle. So the safe harbour is a confidential and open environment for the company to come and have a discussion with NICE and other stakeholders within the system, knowing that that information is only going to be shared within that room. Now, you can engage with us at any point along the pathway, but we would always suggest engaging with us early on, and particularly before a product comes to NICE for evaluation in one of our guidance programmes. For pharmaceuticals, that might mean that you would be looking to engage with us around the phase 2 study stage, or for medtech products, potentially 12 months or more in advance of gaining a CE mark and regulatory approval. We start with an initial introductory meeting, which is offered free of charge, and that's an opportunity to discuss the product and the issues associated with it. And at that stage, we can determine whether bespoke services might be appropriate. Now, the safe harbour concept underpins all of the services that we offer, and generally the services fall into a few different categories. So we offer general engagement meetings, which are helpful for companies who are not familiar with HTA or with NICE. That's an opportunity to discuss our processes and methods and the evidence base required for that particular product. And it's also an opportunity to talk about some of those initiatives that are coming up within the landscape and how they might impact your product and a future NICE evaluation. We also offer meetings for products going through the Early Access to Medicine scheme in the UK. That's an opportunity to discuss your data collection plans during the EAMS period. You can collect observational data to supplement your trial programme and potentially address any data gaps during the EAMS period. And it's an opportunity to discuss flexible pricing options and managed access approaches as well. We offer portfolio reviews, which are appropriate if you've got several products in development with different issues associated with those. And the key sort of service really is the early multi-stakeholder safe harbour discussion. So that's a discussion which NICE brokers and coordinates. We pull in all the relevant players from the UK healthcare system, and we have a discussion about the product, where it best fits within the UK landscape, and where that product is likely to have most value. And I'll talk about that in a bit more detail. So the OMA multi-stakeholder safe harbour is supported by rules of engagement, and that ensures a very broad, open and free discussion within a confidential framework. It allows broad exploration of the possibilities through the help of an expert facilitator who chairs each session. And it's very much a collaborative event. We include participation from a range of stakeholders within the UK system. and we coordinate input from each of those. So, for example, the meeting may involve the company and its representatives, different people from within the different NICE teams. It can include the regulator, NHS England as the commissioner. We also pull in patient experts and patient organisations, as well as clinical experts and key opinion leaders in that particular area. And the Safe Harbour is really designed to help companies deliver a market access plan that's both patient and healthcare system focused. And the Safe Harbour really allows participants to think beyond their own area of interest and to work together. The benefit of this for companies is that engaging with us at this stage can help you to understand both what's feasible and desirable for the healthcare system. And the discussions can also help to prepare you for the processes that you might need to follow as you move towards product launch. So, as well as the direct services that the Office for Market Access offers, we can also put you in touch with the NICE Scientific Advice team. Like the OMA, the Scientific Advice Service is a fee-for-service, not-for-profit programme. It's been around for much longer than OMA, and they've completed around 180 individual projects and advised 25 of the top pharma companies globally. Like OMA, all life sciences products are eligible to come for scientific advice, and the Scientific Advice Service also offers a special advice service for SMEs as well. So what actually is scientific advice? It's advice from NICE on your prospective clinical and economic development plans. So that can involve advice from us on your population and any subgroups of interest in your studies, the comparators that you're planning to use, and the appropriateness of the endpoints in that study, amongst other things. In terms of your economic plans, we can comment on the appropriateness of the economic model you're planning to use, as well as the utility and resource use data that you're looking at and the types of analyses that you might be carrying out. So this advice is really important because it can help you to generate robust evidence to support the value proposition for your product. And in turn, that can be used in a future NICE evaluation, or it can be used in discussions with payers and commissioners. So why seek scientific advice? Well, it helps you to understand the perspective of the decision maker and to understand the different pros and cons of study options that you might be considering. It allows you to maximize the relevance of your study outputs, and it also provides an opportunity to explore alternative strategies for addressing any data gaps that there might potentially be. It also allows you to integrate cost-effectiveness considerations early into your decision-making, which isn't always something that happens. And overall, it can be seen as a de-risking strategy. By engaging with us early on, you can understand our perspective, how we consider value and what's important to us, so that you're targeting your efforts towards the right things, and hopefully that will lead to a positive outcome when it comes to a NICE evaluation or discussion with payers and commissioners. So if you're thinking of bringing innovative products to the UK NHS, the Office for Market Access is the front door for engaging with NICE. And engaging with us has many benefits, not just for you as companies, but also for other stakeholders. So for the healthcare system and patient, it means that innovation can really target an unmet need, and it can help to get that innovation to the system and patients much more quickly. For you as innovators, having that earlier dialogue can help you maximize some of the opportunities that might be available to you, especially in this changing landscape. In terms of investors, it can help to provide a better understanding of the factors that NICE considers and how we view value, and that can help to understand the impact on adoption and uptake and to reduce financial risk. And it can have many benefits for the life sciences sector as a whole. It can support growth in this area and help to create a better environment for market entry. So our door is open. Please do get in touch with us. You can find more information on the NICE website, or you can contact us directly at oma@nice.org.uk. If you want to stay up to date with the latest developments of NICE, there's also information on our website. The scientific advice team runs workshops throughout the year. Some of those focus on developing value propositions and health technology assessment for non-health economists. The latest workshop is due to be in October, and that's on cell and gene therapies. You can also subscribe to NICE News, and you can follow us on Twitter at NICEComms. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Faye. It's great to keep time because it means there's a lot of time for questions. So please, any questions from the audience? Come on.
Don't be shy.
There must be questions. There are loads of obvious questions. Please, go ahead. We have a mic. Please use that. This is exercise for the Sahlgrenska staff.
Hi, thank you for a very good presentation. I was thinking, do you have collaboration with other countries in the EU, and do you have other good examples of how entrepreneurs outside of the UK have been able to get introduced into the UK market successfully?
Yeah, so we work with a lot of companies that aren't just UK companies, and I think the services that OMA and Scientific Advice offer are particularly relevant for SMEs and smaller companies who don't have very much experience of NICE in the UK and the system in general within the UK. So we're very open to engaging with companies from other countries, and I think also the advice that you get from NICE is very sort of rigorous advice based on all of our sort of processes and methods, and that advice can apply in other settings as well. So I think it's very valuable, and the guidance that we produce as well is also looked at around the world. So it doesn't just have an influence within the UK, it has quite a lot of influence internationally, although that's something that we only sort of hear anecdotally. But yeah, does that answer your question?
So to what extent, if you look on the proportion between UK small companies that use your services versus companies from abroad, do you know roughly how many is non-UK based companies?
There's a large proportion of non-UK companies, yeah.
And this is funded by the government, I guess, or how is it financed?
So our guidance programs are publicly funded, but the Office for Market Access and NICE Scientific Programme are fee-for-service programmes, so we work on a cost recovery basis.
Now we come to two ugly questions. You should always have nice questions and bad questions. So what's the budget?
So with the Office for Market Access services, the fees obviously vary depending on the nature of the project.
For the free service part, how much funding do you get from your sponsors?
No funding. Okay. No. It's all entirely cost recovery.
Well, I think it's a great initiative. I have one question. You said on the scientific advice, and if you're in pharma, you mentioned phase 2.
Yes.
Normally what you do in phase 2 is a consequence of you did in phase 1 and even earlier. So wouldn't it make more sense to have those companies approach you before going into development rather than when they have spent tons of money, maybe even doing the wrong things?
Yeah, so I think the Office for Market Access is the best starting point for very early discussions. And then as things progress, going to the scientific advice programme around that phase 2 stage before you go into phase 3 development is the sort of optimal time, because what we want to do is to help support your evidence generation plans for that phase 3 study. So,
okay, so the technical advice is solely coupled to the evidence-based data. Okay, then I get it. Good. Any other questions from the audience? Yes?
Is there already a favorite success story you can comment on?
So probably the multi-stakeholder safe harbour meetings that I mentioned, we've just run 2 pilot safe harbours, and obviously we've got a lot of feedback from those, and the feedback's been extremely positive, not just from the companies involved, but also from the other players within the healthcare system, because they can really see the benefit of being involved in these discussions at an early stage, helping the company to determine where that product best fits within the UK landscape, where it has most value, so that the company can go away, refine their thinking, and then come to us with a really sort of rigorous proposal for how that product's going to be used. So it gives the healthcare system a sort of advance warning that this innovative product is coming, and it's a very much collaborative process. It's a chance for us to learn about the product, and chance for you to pick our brains and sort of really find out what's important to us for that product when we come to either evaluate it within NICE or when the commissioner comes to look at funding that product.
And how many people are engaged in the organization? How many works?
In the scientific advice team, it's now a team of around 18 people, and the Office Market Access is relatively small, and there's around 4 of us. Yeah. But we draw in expertise from the other teams within NICE as and when we need it to provide the services.
Cool. So, this is needed, so congratulations. I think it's a great thing to do. Thank you, Faye.
Thank you.